This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Withi Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm your host, Sharon Lynn Wyatt, creator of Namology Science and author of Know the Name, Know the Person. And in each weekly show, you'll hear the fascinating ways other people discovered the genius in themselves and what they were able to accomplish. At the end of the shows, you'll hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. All over the world, people have many, many diverse interests. And in that vein, people have asked about different occupations and areas of life that have highly interested them. People want to know how highly successful people have managed to achieve their genius mindset. So how does someone express their creative talents, and how does someone share those gifts with others in such a way that all benefit? Our expert tonight is Lyon, and this last name is just a wondrous last name, especially if you know what it means, but the enunciation is really a challenge. It's Zonamyari. Did I get it kind of close, Lyon?
Zonamyari. Close enough.
Okay, I put it to you. Okay. Anyway, the website is names doctor, Names, it's plural, doctor.com. And Lyon developed his genius in the area of analyzing names and spiritual counseling via mediumship. At an early age, Lyon quickly discovered that conforming with conventional was not his path and questioned our very existence when he was just 8 years old. Why are we here? Where do we come from? What is this thing called life all about? With no help, guidance, or information readily available at the time, long before the internet, Lyon became a rebel, lost without a cause. Past lives and reincarnation fascinated him for many years. The more books he read on the subject, the more he became convinced it was a reality. And I just want to say, since we're so close to the same age, Lyon, that there were not a lot of books on these topics when we were kids.
No, there was nothing out there. Nothing. And I mean, if you went into libraries, you wouldn't find anything. If you lived in a big city, like perhaps London, then some of the bigger bookstores, the bigger libraries would have some choice, but still very, very limited. You're right. It's amazing.
Right. We had Jane Roberts. We had Edgar Casey. We had, just a handful, and that was it. And you just waited forever till the next book came out. Anyway,
Yeah.
A sequence of events prompted Lyon to discover his past, which led him to his first spiritual mentor, Paulette, who specialized in healing and regression techniques. The incredibly advanced Paulette took Lyon way beyond past lives. When Paulette cleared his third eye and activated dormant DNA strands, Lyon discovered he could remove somebody's headache by a touch in a matter of seconds. Soon after, his second mentor, Deanne, also an oracle level, advanced his learning of energy and vibration linked to healing. Lyon's third mentor, a homeopathic intuitive doctor, completed the circle of knowledge. 3 steps to healing, happiness, and abundance is the accumulation of knowledge gleaned from his 3 mentors that has saved many people from surgery and saved others when surgery failed. With day-to-day problems, it clears a path toward health, happiness, and abundance for anybody ready to change the way they live their lives. In 2010, Lyon diverged down to a more scientific path linking energy and vibration to one's names that changed his life forever. Now, you can all know why I'm fascinated by this, because his technique and what he does is so different than mine, and yet the end result is very similar. This is not a new hokey-pokey theory, and it's not numerology. This documented system was originally used in ancient times by enlightened families to name their children for a prosperous and happy, healthy life. When you see for yourself how accurate the system is, you'll understand why it's been kept under wraps. Your name influences your life, for better or for worse. His system is called Name Reality, and it shows you how, why, and what you can do. You know, and there's nothing more fascinating out there to anybody than their own personal life. So, in able to master our own lives, we use all the clues we can, and a lot of those clues are hidden in the name. Anyway, welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, Leon.
Well, thank you. Yes, I have actually discovered the genius in myself and many other people as well. And as Albert Einstein said, everybody has it there. You've just got to tap into it. That's all you have to do.
Well, you know, I wonder, have you found many people that are afraid to tap into it because how their lives might change?
Yeah, going back to my experience with past lives, reincarnation, this is my 72nd visit here and potentially the last. I'm going to be here till June the 12th, 2050. I'll be popping off at about 5 o'clock in the morning, English time. I do have the opportunity to come back one more time if I want to as a walk-in, where I'll actually, effectively, the body that I have now will die. I will come out of the body. I will not return back home. I will go directly into a fully grown adult body where somebody else has decided to opt out. They're taking an exit point. I will come into a fully grown adult body with all of my memories. So that on its own sounds quite interesting. But the way planet Earth, or the way civilization, humans are going on planet Earth right now, I'm not sure if I want to come back again.
Unless we get to those 1,000 years of promise, peace, and prosperity. You know, Ruth Montgomery in her books was the first one that introduced to the world the idea of walk-ins, which is what you're just talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's interesting. How do you know exactly when you're departing from the earth?
It's in my case, it came to me in three very, very, very strong visions. I am very much in touch with my higher self. So yes, I talk to myself. Some people think I'm crazy. I talk with my spirit guide. And my spirit guide, he actually came to me many years ago. He told me his name was Thomas at first, but more recently he's told me that his real name, the last time that he incarnated himself, was Acradale. And he's the same Thomas, the same energy that walked with Jesus. So he was one of the 12 disciples. And for your information, the story about Jesus and the 12 disciples, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there in the Bible which is going in the right direction, but the true story is quite different. Also, I've for a long time been having conversations with Mary Magdalene, and I used to use her to come in and assist with healing whenever I was doing any of my healing work in years gone by. So that combined with recently my second mentor, she passed away a couple of years ago. She had to take an exit point because she needed all of her energy to be with her higher self. She actually works on what you might call an intergalactic committee. And she's actually sticking up for us right now. She's trying to stop the powers that be to wipe humans off the face of the earth. There's no problems with what we do. We can kill each other because our bodies they're just a vessel. It's the way we're actually treating the planet. The planet is a living organism. And in the last 50 years, we've done more damage, more destruction than we have in thousands of years. And we're reaching the tipping point where we're going to get beyond the point of no return. So, yeah, everybody should wake up. Otherwise, all these movies you see about doomsday and so forth, it could happen. It could potentially happen if we don't wake up and live in unison with one another and with the planet. But we're going way off the subject of names here, aren't we?
We're getting right back to it, though. No problem. At the beginning of the show, we like to share some of the qualities that your name says about you, Leon. So if we may, using numerology science, you were born with self-confidence and would retain it your entire life. You're a detective. You're very observant according to your name. You don't miss much. You're really watching what everybody else is doing. It's like you're saying, I'm going to be ready when it's my turn to leave. And so you're always watching, if I'm going to do it differently than this one, I'm going to do that part the same. It's like you're always thinking about how other people are doing things and how you're going to do them differently. Your name says that you will always be in search of spiritual pursuit. That's actually in your name, in my system. And it says you're a detective and you want to know all about everybody, and that everybody comes and deposits their problems at your feet, knowing that you're going to give them good advice. What's really cool about your name is it indicates that you like to nurture other people, but you don't want to boss them around. It's like you could become the boss of bosses, and yet that's not what you're about. You're really about serving them a platitude or a whole plate, a banquet, and saying, this is where it is, eat where you'd like, So it's like you're giving to people a lot of knowledge and gifts and information, but not trying to push any of it down their throats. So that's really cool in your name. It also indicates in your name that you have one incredible memory, okay? And that you've got a lot of balance in the heart and mind. Anyway, the last thing I want to say about your name, because I just do it very briefly for you, is, and something I really like in your name, is that it indicates you are nobody's fool.
Well, thank you. Correct, and correct. But it also sounds like a little bit that you're talking about yourself, because I feel that we have quite a few similarities. And actually, using my system, you have some of the similarities that I have from the name Sharon and from the name Lynn. The name Wyatt would actually represent very, very similar to what I had from my birth names. Now, of course, I have legally, by documentation, changed all of my names drastically, from having a first name of Paul to now going to Leon and this rather strange last name, and the middle initial G and a middle name Paley. But I have actually kept all of my good side, and I got rid of the negative side that I didn't really like too much, and I changed my life by changing my name. So
yeah, because I changed once I figured out my system, I changed my last name, because in my system the last name reflects who you attract to you. And I thought, I need to do this differently. I'm happy with the first and the middle, but that last name needs some work. And so I changed the last name. Anyway, we need to take a break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which can also be heard on knowthename.com along with xzbn.net. And after the break, we'll find out some of the basics of Lyon's system and where it originated. Now, his website is namesdoctor.com. It's names is plural, Names, doctor.com. And of course, mine is knowthename.com. And if Lyon and I were typical people, you would think we were in competition because we're both doing the same thing. And yet we're both fascinated by each other's system. And we always think the more the merrier. So we're looking forward to seeing you on the other side of the break. And Lyon, real quickly, just one fast answer. Is your system anything like numerology?
Not really. No, we do use numbers for this system. And we do reduce numbers down to single digits, but that's about the only similarity. This system is very, very unique, and when we come back after the break, I'd love to share a bit of the history with you, so you know that this is not a new hokey pokey theory. This is something that's been kicking around for thousands of years.
And we can't wait. Anyway, coming up soon.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Our guest tonight is Lyon, and I'm going to let you say your own last name, Lyon. I so don't want to slaughter it.
Zonamyari.
That is just a mouthful for I'm sure many people. Anyway, his website is namesdoctor.com. Name is plural, so it's namesdoctor.com. Now, before we get started on all the basics and everything else, you've mentioned so many times that our destiny is somewhat determined by what kind of a name we're given, whether it's a good name or not such a good name. Do you find that the majority of people need to change their names? And how true is that our name really determines how much of our destiny?
Yes. Obviously, even though my system is not quite the same as yours, it does actually show so many aspects of your life. This actual system which I'm using, which I have adopted, this is not my system. It shows how from birth you're given documented names. They create a blueprint that shapes and defines your character, your personality, your virtues, vices, and areas of both your mental and physical health, for better or for worse. More amazing, the second part of this system, it reveals how letters from each of your names rotate at predetermined years, influencing events and the way that you live your life. Sounds incredible, but it's actually very, very true. And yes, I have found from the hundreds and hundreds of names that I've analyzed, well, it actually goes into the thousands, but as far as clients, hundreds and hundreds, every time I analyze somebody's names, they go, wow, that is just so amazing. It's so accurate. Just like when you were using your system, analyzing me, I couldn't disagree with anything that you said. And I'm sure if I used my system for you, you would say the same thing. All these systems out there, there's various different versions of numerology. There's the newer Western system, as they call it. There's the older Kabbalah system and different offshoots. There's lots of different name systems out there, and they've all got something good to offer. And actually, as we said in a little previous conversation that we had, because I've read your book and you've read my book, and we both see certain aspects and points there which gel, it would be a great venture if the two of us could get together and actually combine both of our books into one system. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be, because the accuracy. And you know how you do the years is very similar to how I teach that when I'm teaching a class. What to expect this year versus that year, whatever, and that we go in cycles. So I found all of that fascinating. And anyway, keep going, because this is all about your system this time.
Sure. The thing that I find when I analyze somebody's names is they're just like blown away. It's like, wow, this is just so accurate when it comes to my combined personality. And then when I go to the second part, talking about the events and the way things fall into place during your life, it's like, this is just incredible. Where did you get this information from? So maybe I should tell you where I got the information from, because it's not really a big secret. But it has been kept a secret. It has been kept from the general public so many times for thousands of years.
Well, I know that a shaman from Canada told me, he said, Sharon, you must have done this in previous lives and able to have brought this through the way you did.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
it
Yeah,
has
I'm
to
sure.
have been, a part of me or whatever. So we want to know, what is the origination of name reality, and how did you learn it, considering the last book printed that acknowledged this ancient system was printed in 1929, and those
That's
authors
correct. Yeah.
passed
Yeah.
away. So how did
Yes.
you learn this?
Well, just to recap very quickly, it started just several years ago. Even though I'd been through massive spiritual growth and I was feeling very grounded and feeling on top of the world, my personal life was still a roller coaster, a real horrendous roller coaster. Times when I'd be very successful in business, and then my business, for no reason at all, would just seem to crash and fail. And I also had a big problem with alcohol as well. I started drinking when I was 15, and it was only when I changed my names that I was able to just kick the habit. It was my daughter who actually introduced me to a guy in England called Lawrence Page, who was actually using parts of this system, and he was quite a successful name analyst in England. So I contacted Lawrence, and he did a quick analysis of my names, and I was very, very blown away. So I had to learn more. So at first I started to train with Lawrence Page. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. But I did pick up a copy of the 1929 book. As you mentioned, it's called The Fundamental Principles of the Yi King Tao, the Kabbalahs of Egypt, and the Hebrews. And it was written by two sisters, Violeta and Elverita Park Boyle, who were both from the Chicago area. And it was their book that really got me off to a big start to really get hooked on this name system, because I was just blown away by it. And so on picking up this book and studying and doing more research, it was also found that going further back, this actual information is actually preserved in its splendid entirety, known to the ancients as the way of life. This is in China. This was about 3,000 years ago. A very complicated version can also be found in the Indian Vedas and also in the Hebrew Kabbalahs. Now, going back even further, this system was actually used in Egypt about 10,000 years ago. And once again, it is documented. There was a great hieratic papyrus that was found in Egypt, and it's actually still preserved in the Library of the Louvre in Paris. And the actual writings are known as Book of the Master of the Secret House, which is also known as the Book of the Dead. So this system, which I'm actually utilizing here, it's not like I've invented the wheel, far from it. It's a system that's been documented, but lost and found many, many times. And I'm very, very glad I got involved with it. Now, you mentioned about the authors of the 1929 book. Yeah, these two sisters, they devoted their lives to the study and research of all the different name systems they could find out there. And eventually they settled on this one, and they produced their book in 1929. The last and third edition was in 1934. Second World War was soon about to start. Of course, that creates disruption around the world. And the sisters were getting older. The last information I have is in the late 1940s, at the end of the Second World War, the two of them were still living in the same house in Chicago, and then everything just disappeared. They just vanished. Obviously, they were getting older. They obviously passed away. Now, because of my background being very, very spiritual and being able to talk to dead people, because I'm weird, I was able to talk with Violeta and Elverita Park Boyle to gain more information to take their book to the next level. And that's exactly what I did. And it was a wonderful, magnificent journey. And then back in 2013, I actually published my book, Name Reality, which is based on all of their previous work and all of that comes from the Yiking Tao, the Kabbalahs of Egypt, the Hebrews, the book of the Master of the Secret House, the Way of Life. It's all been documented. So all I've really done, like I said, I haven't invented the wheel. I've just taken a wheel and I came up with a nice inflated tire that I could put on that wheel to make it run more smoothly. So I've just taken the system up just a little notch. And being able to channel and converse with the two sisters was quite amazing. Obviously, I've also tapped into other sources, my higher self, my spirit guide, when it comes to other areas of information to complete the book. So that's a little bit of the background. Yeah.
What I found absolutely fascinating in your book, which I hadn't considered, it didn't show up when I was doing my research, and that is that cycle of good years and then get ready for the years that are going to be lean years. And we all have them.
Yeah.
And if you can know when they're coming, what a benefit.
Oh, exactly. That's the same with my system. When I actually analyze somebody's names, obviously the first part is talking about their personalities, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When you actually understand who you are and why you tend to act the way that you do, if you've got some little flaws, like maybe it'll say in your names using this system, you can be a little bit sarcastic at times. Well, we all know that sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. You can get away with it maybe once or twice in a conversation, cracking a little sarcastic joke. But if you keep repeating over and over, people tend to start to shy away from you, or they don't really like it too much. They might not tell you, but they don't like it. So if you know that you've got some of these flaws, the next time you feel, oops, yep, I'm being a little bit sarcastic there, you can hold back, you can take control, because you know that it's there and it's something that's coming from an outside source. When you have something that comes along, such as a job opportunity, if it says within your names that you are very good artistic creativity, you can be very good as an architect or an engineer or this or that or something else, which is within this whole system that I have here, you can say, hey, you know what? I think I can really do that. I'm going to apply for that job. And when you apply for that job, you've already got some confidence there that you know that you are able to do this. You can achieve it. And when you go in with that positive, strong attitude, it increases your odds so many times that you will actually get that job that you applied for. So yes, you can use these name systems very, very much to your advantage. And then, of course, when it comes to the events chart, I can produce a lifelong chart, which starts from birth going through to age 99. And first off, we start going through your early years so that you can establish that what this system is saying happened throughout those years. You can go, yes, this is right, this is correct. If you can then look at the present time and say, and this is correct for what's going on right now. There's no reason to say that this is how it's going to go for the future. Again, the little cliche that I like to use is if you know there's a long-range weather forecast, next year the sun is going to shine. Well, you want to get out your sunglasses and you want to get a beach towel and you want to have as much fun as you can. So in other words, if you have certain opportunities to maybe buy a house or move to a different location or change your job, you know that this energy is giving you an invisible helping hand. However, if you see, for the next 2 years, it's not looking too good. The long-range weathercast for me says there could be thunderstorms and thunder showers. What do? You don't stay at home and hibernate. No, you've got to go out, get on with your life. So what you do is you go out, but you take an umbrella or a raincoat, or maybe both. And guess what?
Right there, gotta stop. We need to take another break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. This show is dedicated to finding out more about names. And after the break, we'll find out some of the spiritual background of Lyon with knowthename.com and namesdoctor.com. Thank you. We'll be right back.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Lyon Zonamyari.
Zonamyari.
Zonamyari. I'm going to get this yet. Anyway, author of Name Reality, whose website is namesdoctor.com. Now, names is plural, so it's Names Doctor. Lyon, before the break, you were talking. We had to interrupt you. Please continue your thought there.
Yeah, very quickly. I was talking about if your forecast with your chart for the future is good, then take advantage of it. If it's potential thunderstorms, don't stay at home. Get a raincoat, get an umbrella, go out, get about your day. And if, only if it does suddenly rain, you pop up the umbrella. And guess what? You don't get wet because you were prepared. So, yes, there are many ways you can use this name system to take better control of your own personal life. And if it's all just too much doom and gloom, in my case, my life was not necessarily doom and gloom. I've had some very, very successful, wonderful times, but I've also had some serious crashes and some losses that were just becoming too much. You can do a name change, or like you did yourself, Sharon, a little modification where you just change one of your names. I have clients where we do the same thing. Very often, we'll keep the first name, keep the last name, but play around with middle names to bring in more balance and bring in more good positive events into your events chart. So there's lots of ways you can use this. You don't necessarily have to have a name change to make this work. This is about knowing and understanding yourself. And I'm sure, Sharon, you'll agree with your system. It's very much the same thing, isn't it?
Yes, it very much is. It's like saying, if I know this is why I do it, then I can consciously choose not to or to continue to, but at least now I'm aware of it. And I think once you're aware of something, then you get, you're the one in charge. So how does your system, how does Name Reality use or consider nicknames?
Nicknames, they, well, first of all, this Name Reality system, this is all about documentation. It starts with your birth certificate. I'm just going to go a little bit off track here, and I'll try and make it quick. Everything that happens on planet Earth is documented in the Akashic records. Everything that's happened so far is carved in stone. What's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next year, it's in the Akashic records, but it's soft, it's in jello, it's pliable, because we all have choice. And you could make a little last-minute decision tomorrow morning, which is going to change the sequence of events of things that happened for that day. So going back to documentation, your birth certificate is documented in the Akashic records. When you start being called by that name when you're very, very young, and then start going to school and so forth, they start using your last names. that activates the documentation that's in the Akashic records. When you get a little bit older and someone calls out your name, Sharon or Leon, and you turn around, you are now just confirming. You are using the power of intention. You're saying, yes, that's me. I respond to that. So this particular system that we're dealing with here, unlike some of the other systems out there, it's all about the documentation, because this goes back to ancient symbols which represent current letters of the alphabet. And letters of the alphabet, they give out a vibration. They send out a signal. And it's the combination of all these letters that create your names. So the system is based on documentation. Because of that, nicknames do not really apply in a big way using this system. Sure, the more you document it, the more you use it, the energy will start to gradually take in, especially if you happen to be an author of a best-selling book where your pen name is now being printed by the thousands and the millions distributed around the world, and you're perhaps doing radio shows like this and your names are being talked about. Yes, that's when it will start to come in. But for the most, with name reality, it's about your documented names. With systems like numerology, that's more about the sound of names than the documentation. So it depends which system you're actually talking about, but name reality based on documentation.
See, and now with namology science, what I use, it is the contract for life, what I call it, is based on the birth name, and yet the personality flavors that you can add, like you may be vanilla ice cream, but then you want to add caramel topping, comes, the personality comes with the nickname, but it doesn't change the scope of the life and what's coming with.
Yeah, very often a nickname, if it's something that you take upon yourself and you want it, you desire it, within reason, we can all do or achieve anything we want to do on this planet if you really put your mind to it. The power of intention is incredible. So depending upon which system you use and how you're interpreting nicknames, I have no problem with certain systems bringing in and evaluating nicknames with the actual birth names.
Okay, Leon, you've stated that with this rich spiritual background that you get to talk to the dead, and we call that being a medium. So how does that work? How did you develop that?
You could also call me a trance medium, I guess, because I've had some entities have actually stepped inside my body and actually, spoken through me, which is not something I recommend, to be quite honest. I've actually blocked it out completely for quite some time now because it can be quite devastating. But it kind of started when I was young, I guess. I mean, I was questioning our very existence, as you said, when I was 8 years old. I was actually thinking, well, what if maybe when we're asleep, that's the real life, and when we're awake, that's the dream. A lot of people have thought that. But then when I was 8 years old, I also thought, well, what if we don't really exist at all and we are just somebody else's dream? So when you open up, when you open up the mind, the problem with the human body is we have a finite mind. If you can step out of your body, which I can do, I can astral travel, I can go back home and ask questions at the white pearly gates. If you can come out of your body and connect with your higher self has an infinite mind where within reasonable boundaries, there are no limitations. Your limitations are only what you create yourself. So starting to get into quite a deep subject here. I'm not sure some of the listeners are really quite ready for some of this, but I'm actually on my next book.
Go ahead.
I'm actually on my next book. I've actually finished all the material. I just have to put it together. The Meaning and Purpose of Life on Planet Earth. There are so many fundamental principles of the universe, and when you start to just gather and understand some of them, and you open up your mind to the possibilities, it's an quite an amazing experience being here on planet Earth. There are other planets you can go to as well, of course, but you have to actually graduate planet Earth first before you can go anywhere else. And you also have to balance out your negative karma before you can go anywhere else. In lots of my previous lives, lots of the people within my soul group, I've killed most of them at some point, either in personal battles or in wars. Whereas in this life, I'm trying to be really, really good. And and I'm now helping other people. So I'm balancing my negative karma. So, I'm sorry, I was going off the path because you were talking about mediums.
But what's the similarities, or what's the main core of why we're here? Is this our initiation into the universe?
Yeah, this is a big school. This is a big, big school. First of all, as I'm sure everybody listening in probably knows, back home, we don't have a physical body. We're just an energy. We're just like a light. So we come here for the five senses, which is wonderful because we don't have a physical body back home. So it's great to have a physical body so you can smell, touch, and have sex and drink beer and get drunk and do all these wonderful things. Something which my second mentor shared with me when she passed away. The first thing she told me, she said, I'm back home. Things are fine. She said, I thought I'd share something with you because I know it'll really interest you. Back here home, we do not have emotions. And I remember her exact words. She said, we're all like Dr. Spock in Star Trek. Very, very logical, but no emotions. And that made so much sense to me because in one of my regressions many, many years ago, I was actually going back home, returning back to the pearly gates. I'd had quite a tough life. And there was a soulmate friend of mine who was also arriving at the same time, standing right next to me. I said, oh, hey. We both got back at the same time. Now, I knew what life this friend of mine had actually chosen. She'd chosen a life as a girl, and when she was a teenager, she was brutally raped, and she was beaten and abused, and this went on for years. She actually got syphilis from the first time she was raped, and when she was 19, she died a slow, painful, agonizing death. So there she is standing next to me at the pearly gates. And I said, hey, how'd you get on? She said, wow, it was incredible. It was amazing. Now, I wouldn't want to do it again, but it was amazing. Because we don't have emotions. So if you have no emotions back home, to come to planet Earth, whether it's a good emotion, happy, or a horrible, horrendous emotion, it doesn't matter. An emotion is an emotion. So we come here to learn, to experience, to become a better soul. This is a training ground for us. And we all kind of start off in kindergarten, and we move up as we have more incarnations to primary school, middle school, high school, and eventually to university. And when you've actually finished with planet Earth and you've balanced all your negative karma and you've fulfilled everything you need to do, you can go and work back home, or you can actually go to other planets, but you have to graduate planet Earth first. And if you really open up the mind, you will start to understand that there is no end, there is no beginning. Time is now. It's a constant, and it goes on for eternity. So even though I've been coming to planet Earth for thousands and thousands of years, and I'm now getting towards that end, I can go to a different planet and start all over again, and start at the bottom and work your way up the ladder.
How many lifetimes on average do you think people have here on planet Earth?
Oh, I've never really asked that question, but I know some people.
Well,
I've sorry, both talking at the same time. There are some people that I know who've only had a handful, and there's some I know that are in the hundreds. It's not so. If your question is, do you have to have?
So I want you to think about that while we're taking our last break. I was going to say, because J.J. Dewey, who writes The Immortal and that entire series, and he's very knowledgeable, put it out there that we all have on average 1,000 lifetimes. But anyway, we need to take our last break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. After the break, we'll find out what Lyon has in his name that has assisted him that you might have in your name as well. Stay tuned.
The Earth is under ever-increasing pressure from untenable lifestyles and growing populations. Yet, viable answers seem in short supply. What if I told you there's an ancient form that can empower you to take charge of your life? What if your entire family could be enfolded and supported by life itself, finding safe passage through challenging times? I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Art School, with great news: an upcoming series of leading-edge online affordable classes based in an ancient form of shamanism, easily learned and used by your entire family. Galactic Shamanism, Art of the Ancients, Key to Tomorrow are a series of online adult and children's lessons instructing your entire family on natural law, how to cooperate with and be supported by the powers of the universe. Visit findyourpathhome.com to find these unique and powerful classes.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Lyon, and go ahead, Lyon, say it one more time so we get it correct, your last name.
The full name is Lyon G. Paley Zonamyari.
Okay, he's taken his skills to a level where he's able to assist others to recognize their own path. So, Lyon, right before the break, we were talking about the number of lives that you think a soul, or an average, might experience before getting to circle off of planet Earth or graduate with a coat of many colors, or however we're going to say it.
Yep.
Would you go ahead and finish that thought before I go right into a bunch more questions I have for you?
Yeah, I would love to answer that question. You mentioned about 1,000. Are we talking about incarnations as a human, or are we talking about incarnations on planet Earth in other life forms like animals, cats, dogs, dolphins, whales? The list goes on and on.
No, about 1,000 lives, period, as you're working your way through a wall. 1,000 lives.
So the lives do not have to be in a human body. They can be in any body form experiencing a life on planet Earth. Is that correct?
Correct.
In that case, I agree with the number of 1,000 or thereabouts. Humans, I've seen people that have had 150, 200, a little bit more than 200, some people less. There is no fixed number. You can actually speed up your process, and you can graduate whenever you're ready. Lots of people, they just come here just to have the pleasure of having a physical body. They don't even pay too much attention
to the actual body that they're going to have, all the names that go with that body. Oh, I'll take any one of those within my soul group. I just want to go back there again. Whereas some of us, we're ready to learn, to expand, and to thrive. So there is no fixed number. But as far as in a human body, my personal experience through people that I've worked with, through my healing programs and stuff, where I very often find out how many incarnations they've had, it can be anywhere from 50 to 250, but 1,000 when you include other bodies. Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, thank you for your input. Tell us about your book, Name Reality. What will somebody find out when reading your book? What will they know how to do?
It's a fully tutorial book, which guides you step by step, much the same as your book does, how to actually analyze your own names using this ancient documented system. And it even comes with little charts and stuff in the back of the book, so you can actually plot everything, calculate everything. And for those who say, well, this is great, but it's a lot of time, it's a lot of work, and I don't have that time in my schedule, you can contact me directly, of course, and I can do a full documented name analysis for you, where it is a one-time thing, because I give you a lifetime analysis from birth right through to age 99. And then also, as I said, just a small percentage of my clients say, hey, I'd like to do a name change, a name modification. Once again, you can actually contact me directly for full assistance on that. But the book is fully instructional, and I've had quite a few of my clients who have actually analyzed their names and wanted to change their names, and they have taken my advice, which is, hey, if you're going to change your name, it's a pretty serious step. At least book an hour with me as a consultation so I can cross the T's and dot the I's before you actually go ahead and make the actual legal documented name change.
So if somebody did want a session with you, what would they do? How would they go about it? How would they contact you? And, do they do it through the website?
Go to my website and all the information is there. There is a page which is titled Services. On the Services page, you'll see all the options that I have as far as the name system goes. If you're interested, my healing program is also on the same website. On the far right-hand top corner of the home page, there's a page titled Healing. If you go to that, you'll find all the 3 steps program. And everybody should go to the little icon underneath that, which is titled Power in Words. Consider it a free gift. Read the Power in Words. It'll change the vibration of your drinking water, the air you breathe, the food that you eat. It'll bring health, happiness, and abundance into your life. It'll show you techniques, how to take advantage of the laws of attraction to get results you previously were unable to attain. That's a free gift. Power in Words, directly under the healing icon on the website. Going back to the services page, it shows all the list of the services which I have available, from a name analysis to business names, to children's names, baby names, and so on. If you mention that you heard me on this show, I'll be more than happy to give you a very substantial discount, because Sharon, thank you for inviting me. And Sharon and I have got lots more work to do in the future regarding our 2 systems, and finding the time to blend the 2 together, because I think we've got something very special here between the 2 of us. So
I
yes.
think it's really neat, because when I was reading your book with your system, I could see how you were doing things very similarly or getting the similar results. And,
Yes.
and then saw too how you added little pieces that I didn't have in my system. And then I thought, and I have these little pieces that would complement your system.
So much. Yes. It's especially the placement of letters. The first letter in the name, where the vowels are placed, if they're at the beginning or at the end, and if the vowels double up and stuff. There's so much that we could actually put together between us. But of course, it's going to take hundreds, if not thousands, of hours for us to do it. But I think it's a challenge that we should rise up to, and we should do before our days are over on planet Earth. And you're actually going to pop off a similar sort of time as me, aren't you?
Yeah, it's very similar, is what I'm
Yeah,
understanding is.
yeah. So we have got 30 odd years to actually get this done.
Well, it may take us that long, but I hope not. Okay, so if you could change one thing about people's understanding and how they look at the world, what would that be?
Wow. How much time have you got? You said one thing? One
One
thing?
thing, one,
Oh,
if you could change one thing about how they look at the world.
look in the mirror, look at yourself, and say, for better or for worse, I chose this body. And even if you're going through hell right now, know that it's not an accident. It's happening for a reason, ultimately for you to experience, to actually learn, and to actually find a lesson somewhere within it. But know that you have the power to change. We all come here with choice. Life is about choices. And in fact, I think probably there's one little phrase that I could use that would probably sum it up the best. And it is actually something which is going into my next book. And I think it's quite a powerful statement myself personally. And I'm just trying to find it on the desktop so I can quote it exactly because I've just come up with this. Okay, here we
While
go.
you're looking for that, oh, you found it?
Found it. Okay. We create our own world as we go along by thoughts, decisions, and actions. Every choice and every moment today reflects upon tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's great.
Choice, change. It's up to you, people, and it's all about finding yourself. Find out who you really are, why you're here, what your
Well,
objectives are.
when you were
What
saying
your
about choice and how you started all of this when you were like 8 years old, I remember thinking when I was about that age and I was looking at my sisters and how they looked and how we shared some attributes, having the same parents, and how we totally looked different in other ways.
uh-huh.
I imagined as we started learning in science about the recessive genes and the dominant genes and everything, I remember having this vision that you go into like this huge department store and it had all the choices of all the combinations you could possibly have for eyes from your parents, and you got to pick one. And all the combinations you could possibly have for hair that could come from your two parents, and you picked one. And that you just kept shopping for your body parts as you went through so that we actually got the body of our choice.
My visions have been very, very similar. Once again, we both seem to be on the same path. Yeah. I mean, my version is not quite exactly the same as that, but it's going along the same direction, and it's the same ultimate result. Yes. It's all about choice.
I'm so sorry our program's coming to an end, Leon. It was fabulous having you on with us, and thank you so much. Everyone, be prepared and surprised and pleased when you experience Leon's work. Again, his website is namesdoctor.com. You know, Leon excels at his search for spirituality and a search for meaning in life. And this is found in the first vowel of his first name being a Y. And if your first vowel of your first name is also a Y, you too excel at wanting to find the meaning of life and what is